What's up, everybody? Good to see you all again. Today's February 1st of 2021, and I wanted to make sure I did a video on this story about Robinhood and Gamestop with the stock market, these hedge fund managers losing all this money to regular investors. There seems to be a pretty clear riddle here that involves the installation of the recent new president, Joe Biden. And maybe I'm reading into this a little bit too deeply, but this appears to be another story that's connected to Super Bowl 55. Now, last year, just 1 week before Super Bowl 54, we had the death of Kobe Bean Bryant, whose name sums to 54. He, along with his daughter Gianna Bryant, dying on January 26th, or 126. And now it appears this year we're getting a slew of news stories that also seem to be connected to Super Bowl 55. Now we'll get to that in a minute, but first I just want to explain the logical connections between how this is related to Joe Biden and his recent swearing in as president. So a quick glance at Joe Biden reveals that his middle name is Robinette. And remember, Joe Biden is a junior. He actually has a son who's a third, that was Beau Biden, who died at the age of 46. Joe Biden, now the 46th president. Recall 46, a number we see commonly coded around sacrifice. But it's worth pointing out again the middle name of Robinette. And about a week after he takes office, we get this massive news story about an app called Robinhood. Now, if at any point there's a news story where virtually everyone you know is talking about it to some degree, that means it's manufactured, and that we're supposed to be talking about it because it's going to lead to changes that the New World Order, so to speak, benefits from. Notice how Joe Biden has matching 44 Gematria with Robinhood. The word poor also equals 44. And think about how Biden is a Democrat taking the Oval Office back for the party for the first time in 4 years. As he takes office, he's also getting a majority of Democrats in the Senate. And this joins an already Democratic House of Representatives. So as the Democrats are taking over, the Democrats, historically the party of the poor, now suddenly we get this story about an app called Robinhood, which is a story or a legend about stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Again, all of this mainstream news, scripted, not only with symbolism like this, but through the numbers, as we will see. Now, first, I want to talk about how this connects to Joe Biden through the number 46. Again, Joe Biden swearing in, becoming the 46th United States president. This coming weekend, we'll have the Super Bowl, which features Tom Brady, which equals 46. He went to school at Michigan, summing to 46. Also worth noting that his birthday falls a span of 46 days before Patrick Mahomes. And now we get this story about the Robinhood app. And look at when Robinhood was founded, April 18th of 2013. That was exactly 406 weeks before this news story broke. April 18th also falls a span of 40 weeks and 6 days before January 28th, when Robinhood first restricted trading of GameStop on its app. The subreddit that was involved in stealing from the rich was called Wall Street Bets. This also sums to 46 in reduction. And there is even a news story about the man who was allegedly responsible for driving this price increase of GameStop, and his name was Keith Gill from Brockton, Massachusetts. And notice how Brockton equals 46. Brady playing for the Buccaneers, which equals 46. And perhaps there's something here. Robinhood, right? Brady's best friend, Rob Gronkowski, on the team. Rob equals 46. And he was born on a date with a life lesson number of 46. Now, the number 46 is coded into Tom Brady in another way. Also, Leo DiCaprio, who starred in The Wolf of Wall Street, currently 46 years old. The 46th prime number is 199. And Tom Brady was the 199th pick of the NFL draft. His full name has satanic gematria of 1099. And check out our Wall Street bets in ordinal, 199. So a lot to unpack there. Another thing about where this guy is from, Keith Gill, again, credited for boosting the stocks of GameStop. 34 years old. Tom Brady looking for his 34th playoff victory. We'll talk about that in a second as well. But the fact that he's from Brockton, Massachusetts, I pointed out how Brockton equals 46, the number that's primarily key in this entire riddle. But think about how close Brockton is to Tom Brady, right? Brockton, Tom Brady. Notice how Tom Brady has the same gematria in all 4 base ciphers as Brockton. So one of the reasons I think this is connected is because this Robinhood app, notice how Robinhood equals 55. And, of course, it's Super Bowl 55 being played next week. The subreddit even that's involved, Wall Street Bets, summing to 55. Wall Street with matching gematria with 55, as does GameStop. And again, think about the theming here, right? Robinhood steals from the rich. We just got this Democratic president with the majority in the Senate for the Democrats, the party of the poor. Well, this past July, Patrick Mahomes signed the richest contract in American sports history. And Mahomes, of course, plays for the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs represent the Native American community, one of few teams remaining that do. And a lot of people believe that the Chiefs had this land stolen from them. So the Chiefs will be playing against the Buccaneers. And think about the Buccaneers' home stadium, Raymond James. At Raymond James Stadium, it's modeled after a pirate ship. And in fact, there is a pirate ship right there in the stadium. Buccaneers, sort of similar to pirates. And of course, piracy means stealing. So now we're starting to see a theme develop in with mainstream media. You know, a story about stealing from the rich, hedge fund managers, losing billions of dollars to ordinary, regular people. As the Super Bowl plays out with the Chiefs, the richest contract, stealing the land from the pirate ship, it just makes a lot of sense. And it just makes me wonder, will the Buccaneers be stealing the game somehow from the Chiefs? So perhaps there could be a late comeback where the Chiefs are celebrating a win only to have the Buccaneers have some sort of miracle. Or maybe there will be a penalty, something really unfair that happens that causes the Buccaneers to win, so they steal the game away. Again, I mean, that's where it's pointing. You know, last year we had the Montana Bowl, and it was Patrick Mahomes, who has matching 477 gematria with Joe Montana. Patrick Mahomes leading the Chiefs to a fourth quarter comeback, just like how Joe Montana was the comeback kid. Patrick Mahomes' birthday even is September 17th, a lot like Montana's 917 gematria. So this is as close to a prediction as you're going to get from me. I personally don't bet on these games. I see the shenanigans about what's going on. The more people who bet, the less likely it is to turn out, but they're willing to lose money for things to play out like this, and that's where everything's pointing. So another part of this riddle that I wanted to talk about was this Robinhood film that came out in 2018. I found the alignments between this movie and this recent news story about the Robinhood app to be pretty funny. Now, the main character of this story is a man named Taron Egerton. I'm going to go with that for the pronunciation. And Joe Biden was 46 years old when this man was born. We're talking about how Joe Biden, the 46th president, The Robinhood app exactly 406 weeks old. Well, notice how Joe Biden has matching Gematria with Taron Egerton, including the number 64, the reverse of 46. Wall Street Bets also with that 64 Gematria. So does the word poor in ordinal. Now, this Robinhood movie was released one day after Joe Biden's birthday, which stood out. But notice how that date had primary numerology of 70. This news story about Robinhood restricting GameStop stocks fell on a date with another primary numerology of 70. The movie Robinhood, The Wolf of Wall Street. Got to finish this part here. The Wolf of Wall Street was released on a date with primary numerology of 70. The word rich equals 70 in the reverse order. And this story about the Robinhood app broke a span of 70 days after Joe Biden's birthday. There's also a prime number relationship to the actor who played Robin Hood in relation to the date of that film. Thought that was interesting. But how about this? We mentioned how the guy who was responsible for driving the stock price up was Keith Gill. Now, Keith Gill, oh, wow, his name equals 318. That was a number I actually skipped over in this post. This is the prime number relationship I was just talking about. Anyway, in reduction, Keith Gill equals 48. And on the date of this news story, Joe Biden was exactly 4,080 weeks old. The man who played Robin Hood in the movie has a life lesson number of 48. And think about how this connects to Super Bowl 55, summing to 48 in reduction. Quarterback Tom, summing to 48. And if Tom wins Super Bowl 55, he'll get his 34th career playoff victory. Biden equals 34. And this is, of course, Brady's first year with the Tampa Bay Bucks, summing to 34. And this Tampa Bay Bucks, this, I believe, is relevant. If you watch the last video on my channel, I talk about the relevance of the number 124. This is actually 2 videos ago, going back to Kevin King. And the Tampa Bay Bucks beat the Packers on January 24th, 124. Kevin King had birth numerology of 124. And this points to alignments for April 12th, which I find to be interesting. So in the blog post, I talk a little bit more about the potential riddles here, with Patrick Mahomes signing the richest contract in American sports history. It seems to tie in all too well to be just a coincidence. So I'm just going to jump in the chat here and scroll down a little bit. I do think Brady is going to win, and I think it will be an offensive shootout. A lot of points going to be scored, a lot of penalties. Expect a lot of controversy for the officiating. Not too much, but a couple of big calls here and there. Someone said Keith Gill looks like Robin Hood's CEO. So let's check this out again. Got to find a picture of this guy. So this is him right there. He does, yeah, I think you're right. So you be the judge. He does kind of look like this Keith Gill character. When I first saw this picture, I thought he looked a lot like Adam Driver. But I think I'm making that up. Thanks to the brand new subs out there. And special shout out to everybody who's been so kind with the donations to the site. You might notice some graphical upgrades to the website and my channel as well. And no, I didn't suddenly become an artist, but I did put some money into getting some graphic work done. So, thanks to everybody who throws in, and some of you are gracious enough to even put me on some sort of like monthly donation, which is really cool. And again, this logo was not cheap. A lot of this money I'm getting back from you guys, almost all of it pretty much, has gone back into the website in one form or another. Whether I'm renewing the website or upgrading the servers as I've had to do. Gematrinator.com traffic has gone up over 5 times in the last 3 to 4 years from where we were. It's pretty incredible where we've come. So just again, special shout out to everyone who's helped make that possible. And anyone who still wants to contribute, there's always a donate link in the description. You'll see it at the end of the videos. Again, no pressure to donate. I certainly don't need the money, but this is something I would like to spend more time on as time goes on. I think what I'm trying to do with the website now, reprogramming a calculator, making a premium version, and seeing where things take me. I want to provide something for if I'm going to look to make money from this. And I think a new calculator with some really cool functionality would go a long ways in that. And doing more decodes is something I would also like to do. Just a matter of, how much time I have to do them at this point. Someone's saying a total of 56 total points in the game. I would guess more than that personally, but we'll see. So another thought I had, and this is even before Brady's won, but let's say Brady does win and goes 7-3. Well, if he wins in the Super Bowl again next year, he could be 8-3 in Super Bowls. The word football equals 83. And the name Tom Brady, I should say Tom Brady was born on 8-3, August 3rd. And think about the logic here in a back-to-back Super Bowl champion. Nobody's done it since Tom Brady and the Patriots. And could he do it again with the Buccaneers? Now, I want to point out how the number 22 has been so significant to Tampa Bay. First of all, the abbreviation of Tampa Bay is TB, which is 22 in the alphabetic order, which is similar to the numerology of 2020. And this year, all 3 major Tampa Bay teams made it to the finals. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup, the Rays made the World Series, and the Buccaneers made the Super Bowl, which is being played in their home stadium. Of course, the same year that everyone is being asked to stay home, the first home team plays in the Super Bowl. Hilarious. But, and also WrestleMania, think about how that's going to be in Tampa Bay again next year. So TB equals 22, and Tampa Bay equals 79, which is the 22nd prime number. So the number 22, very relevant here. Well, think about back-to-back, right? Back-to-back, BB, 2-2. What about back-to-back, B2B, 2-2-2? If the Buccaneers go back-to-back, like 2-2-2, it would be in the year 2022. And again, Tom Brady could be 8-3. It'll be in the second year of his contract. Looking way too far ahead, I understand. But it'll be interesting to see. And honestly, if the Buccaneers do lose the Super Bowl, then we numerologists have just been toyed with because the riddles really aren't there. Again, the only big riddle I can see for the Chiefs is that it would be the Kansas City Chiefs franchise 511th career win over Bruce Arians, which equals 511. But also consider that Bruce Arians equals 186. Super Bowl 55, or is it Super Bowl 55 like this in ordinal? It also equals 186. And if you look up Bruce Arians and look at when he was hired, you see it was January 8th of 2019. which falls conveniently a span of 108 weeks and 6 days before the Super Bowl. Also consider how the Super Bowl is 165 weeks before the next Great American Eclipse, Super Bowl LV 165. Also, what's cool is the abbreviation for Super Bowl 55 is SBLV, which equals 55. And the game is being played, let's see, I think 55 days after the most recent total solar eclipse. Total solar eclipse equals the 55th prime number. So I talked a little bit more about the game in the video I made on Kevin King. So check that out. I actually had a spreadsheet where I broke everything down, and I explained why I think the Buccaneers are slated to win the game. Again, I won't be putting any money down on it, but if you're looking to, it's that time of year. It's like Christmas for sports bettors. And just scoping out the chat a little bit. Yeah, as far as the death of Dustin Diamond, I just did a video on that on my channel earlier. Totally connected to the number 44, and if you look closely, you'll see there does appear to be another Super Bowl riddle in there, and it's connected to Neil Diamond. Dustin Diamond's middle name is Neil. You know, Vegas usually does win the Super Bowl, and it's really fascinating how they do it when you think about it. I would actually like to see a graph. Let's maybe look that up right now. I'm going to pull up a search to see how Las Vegas has done on the last, 20 Super Bowls. Because for a long time, Las Vegas was almost undefeated, with the exception of, I think, one game where the New York Giants upset the undefeated New England Patriots. And this doesn't say how much money was actually won on it, though. Here, let me try to look a little more. So, Las Vegas Super Bowl profit, I bet. Okay, here's the chart I was looking for. So this actually includes all the way up to 2020. So this shows you, and wow, this is incredible. This shows you how well Las Vegas has done against bettors in the past Super Bowls, all the way back to 1991. So last year, Las Vegas made $18.7 million on the Super Bowl. And they haven't lost money on a Super Bowl since 2008, Super Bowl 42, where the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots. And I should have put money on the Giants that game. That was a clincher. They were 14-point dogs. So look how well Vegas does, right? They always win. So when you ask Juan who's going to win the Super Bowl, it's Las Vegas. Here's your proof. They win millions and millions and millions of dollars every year. So make of it what you will. You know, I believe the games can be fixed. When it comes to the Super Bowl and other sports championships, I do believe they are all rigged. But when you look at this part of it, you have to think about how much the sports media has to do with the perception of the game and how they're able to manipulate betting lines. You know, they can put out a news story suggesting someone's hurt or suggesting a certain coach has a certain scheme, whatever it is. And they can, lean those bets in another direction. So here's your answer, as far as who's going to win the game. The biggest win in recent history, well, last year was pretty big. The Chiefs coming back against the 49ers. Because remember, the 49ers crushed the Packers in the title game. And the Packers were seen to be a big threat. So a lot of money went to San Francisco after that. Look at how much Vegas won on the Seahawks. That's pretty outstanding. That was when Peyton Manning first made the Super Bowl with the Broncos. And a lot of people thought he was going to win. The Seahawks ended up stomping him, winning by 35. The last time that Las Vegas lost money on the Super Bowl prior to Super Bowl 42 was all the way back in 95, Super Bowl 29, when the 49ers beat the Chargers. I guess a lot of people had money on the Chargers, or because the 49ers crushed them in that game. They scored 49 points. So it's interesting that they lost some on that, but not much. So I guess when you look at these totals, I mean, what is the public perception right now? I mean, I think a lot of people like Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl, but are a lot of people really betting against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, who looked pretty good in the AFC title game? They look like the favorites logically. So when you think about where the money is headed right now, it's probably on the Chiefs. So unless there was a typhoon of money going on the Buccaneers, which there may be, I believe it's happened before where there's been influence and, the bet has changed the result of a game. All right. I wouldn't say very few people are in on the fixing. I think there's a fair number of people when you look at coaches, coordinators, particularly referees, quarterbacks. Each team is going to have at least a couple guys on the defense. The offensive line, maybe. I mean, they're all over the place. I think for the most part, your average player knows what's going on. They're not in a position where they feel like they can really say anything, and they're making a lot of money by what's going on. So you're just never really going to hear him say that. That's my take on it anyway. A stadium ritual you guys are asking about? I would imagine it has something to do with Raymond James Stadium and its construction. Now, I did look at the numerology of Raymond James Stadium, and I can't say I saw a whole lot that stuck out to me immediately in relation to the Super Bowl, but maybe we can take a look at this together. Again, it's called Raymond James Stadium, and Raymond James, don't forget, has that special 1331 Gematria, which I love so much. Also 186, look at that, just like Bruce Arians. Raymond James Stadium, meanwhile, gives us a lot of nines here in the base cipher. There's another 288. I mentioned this number a couple videos ago. For a couple of Super Bowls now, the 288 has been a big number. So what we want to look at first is when the stadium opened. September 20th, 1998. And again, as far as the ritual involved here, again, it has to do with the pirate ship. Remember the Robinhood app, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. The Chiefs, who had their land stolen, the Buccaneers, the Pirates. This is the theme that we're seeing play out. So anyway, 9/20/98. To the date of the Super Bowl, we have an exact number of weeks. I know I've seen this number. I can't think of where. Recently, 1168. This was a date with a life lesson number of 56. It was also the 263rd day of the year. That's the 56th prime number. Although I don't know how 56 is really coded in here. Let's see. Maybe it's related to Tom Brady. "21 years, 48 days." This is also 49 days. Remember, Super Bowl is 49, and 48 was a number that I did cover in this post, connecting to Super Bowl 55. What about Breaking Ground, October 15th of 96? "24 years, 115 days. The count of days stands out. 8881, huh? So this is what I'm saying here is I don't see a whole lot of interesting things. Well, okay, a 140 date numerology. Remember, going back to the date that the stadium opened, we had 140 days in the measurement. What's the big 14 connection here? Can someone help me out? Could also be 141 days, I suppose. Oh, this will be the 14th all-time matchup between the Chiefs and Buccaneers. Not sure if that would be relevant there. Yeah, I'm not sure what the riddle would be or if there's a riddle here. You know, Tampa Bay has hosted many Super Bowls. This is the third Super Bowl that this particular stadium has hosted. So there may not be something here that really was intentional or that really stands out. I think what we're really looking at here is the symbolism, again, with the Pirates stealing. Mahomes has the richest contract in American sports history. I think that's more of what we're looking at here. Welcome to the chat, Zach. Right, so now that Zach's here, I'm going to bring up the spreadsheet and show him what we covered a couple of videos ago here. So here's a look at the spreadsheet I made. And I did point out that this would be the 288th all-time win for the Buccaneers. And this was a number that was coded into last year as well, because Patrick Mahomes won the game to go 28-8. The governor of Montana's age was all tied in. So, yeah, exactly. This would be their 288th win in Raymond James Stadium, the home game. So there's your riddle there. Let's see, 8/28/2020. So what was the August 28th death? Zach, I don't know if you saw the comment that I made on one of your videos, but I did not change my pick to the Chiefs last year because of what you said. Recall, I did a super stream where I talked about why the death of Kobe Bryant is what flipped my pick on that. Now let's point it out again why that was. Kobe Bean Bryant has Gematria of 135, 54, and 243. Now these are all significant numbers for the planet Venus. Venus summing to 1035, 54, and it has a rotational period of 243 days. So on my blog, I had been following a riddle with Venus and Jimmy Garoppolo all the way back to November. So you'll see this post here is from November 1st of 2019. And this is where Bobby and I had talked about this date that was very relevant to Venus for Jimmy Garoppolo. Notice how Garoppolo's name equals 224? That's the number of days in one Venusian year. He was born with Venus at maximum elongation. Also, Jimmy Garoppolo, 77, like the magic square of Venus being 7 by 7. Jimmy G, 77. So this magic square of Venus has a sum of 1225. And on the date of this game on Halloween, a Thursday night game against the Cardinals, he was exactly 10,225 days old. So we predicted, or Bobby Moore predicted, a Venus riddle for Jimmy Garoppolo on that game. And of course, what did you see in the headlines? It was Jimmy Garoppolo flirting with Erin Andrews. And Erin Andrews has a birthday of May 4th. Like Venus, 54. She was 180 days after her birthday. Venus equals 18. So for several months, we were equating Jimmy Garoppolo with Venus, right? And the 7 by 7 square. So then Kobe Bryant dies. He's got all the same numbers as Venus. And then, yeah, the Chiefs win, pushing the all-time head-to-head matchup to 7-7. So good job. All right, guys. I'm going to cut her there. Thanks to everybody for popping in and saying hi. Peace, love, God bless, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya.